Okay, so in previous videos we showed you how to create a couple of different style of reports. And reports are great for looking at one particular object, be it accounts, contacts, leads, whatever. However, maybe you want to correlate sort of high-level information across a spectrum of different objects, and you all want it available in one place where you can easily look at it and then drill into the reports if you absolutely necessarily have to. So in that case, what you're going to want is a dashboard. So I've created some reports here that we can use in the dashboard, but they just followed along with the same reporting principles that we had before. So let's click on dashboards. So just like reports, we're going to have things like recent, created by me, private dashboards, all dashboards, just like we had recent reports, created by me, private reports, etc. We don't currently have any dashboards in this org. So let's start off by creating a new dashboard. So just like a report, it's going to ask you to name the dashboard. So we're just going to call it new dashboard. We can put in a description, new dashboard of several objects. And then just like reports, it's going to ask you what folder you want to put it into. And just like reports, there'll be a private dashboard report, so only you can see it. So this is very useful because obviously with dashboards, you'll probably be putting a lot of widgets and maybe you just are not ready to show it to everybody yet until it's built. So we're going to click create. Okay, so up in the right hand corner we have a couple of different buttons. We have done, save. If you click on here, you can save as if you wanted to save a copy of it. And we have the edit dashboard properties. So in edit dashboard properties, we have a couple of things. We could change the name and the description if we needed to. We can change what folder we're going to save it into, which will be useful later if we want to show it to people, if we're not going to copy it. And then down here we have a couple of options. So view dashboard as me. So that means anyone who looks at this dashboard is going to see it with the permissions that I have, regardless of what permissions that they have. They won't be able to view the objects individually if they create on the underlying report, but they will be able to see high-level information. So maybe accounts by state or something like that. And they'll be able to see all the accounts that I have access to. We could also pick another person in a game that's the same concept. If we click on another person, it's going to ask us to search for a user, what we call a running user in Salesforce. And again, if somebody viewed this dashboard, they will be able to see more objects than they have permissions to. They wouldn't be able to drill in and see the details of the objects, but they'd be able to see high-level information like that account and what territory it's in or what state it's in or something like that. The final one is the dashboard viewer. So this is dynamic. So what this could do is if you have separate teams that have separate viewing permissions, maybe they're by territory, you have north and south, and people in the north group can see accounts that are north, and people in the south group can see accounts that are south. What will happen is when either of those users click on the link to this dashboard, they're only going to see the accounts that they have access to. So if somebody with northern permissions click on it, they're only going to see northern accounts. If somebody with southern permissions clicks on it, they're only going to see southern accounts. In this case, we're just going to leave it as me. There's a few more things down here. We have dashboard grid size, and this is just to adjust the size when you're dragging and creating widgets on it. We have the dashboard theme light and dark. I'm just going to leave it as light right now. Then you have a couple of things like dashboard palette, and this is just going to be for your charts, like what color it's going to use for the various bars and graphs and donut charts and things like that. So in this case, I'm just going to cancel out because I don't want to make any changes. So the first thing I want to do is add a widget. So I'm going to click here. So we have some options here. We have a chart or a table. So that is a widget that's going to be related to an underlying report. We have text and we have an image. So things like text and image are going to be, if I wanted to add a title to it, new dashboard, and click add. And then as you see, you can shrink and move this around. And this could be maybe you just want to have a block title for like a group of charts or something like that. Image is the same thing. Maybe you have an image or a company logo or something you want on the dashboard, and you can do that by adding image. But in this case, what we want to do is just add a chart. That's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to click chart or table. So we're going to look at the recent reports I've created, and it will start with all the recent reports that you have or you've created. So you have to just make sure that you remember the name of it, and just things like also take a look at what report folder it's going to be in. If it's something like private reports, If it's not being run by the running user is not me, no one's going to be able to see the information for that. So you just have to remember things like that. So in this case, I'm going to do copy of new accounts report and click select. So this is going to give us the add widget window. So it's going to up here show us what report we're using. And you can click on this if you already have a chart on your report that you want to use. You can click here, and I do have one on this. So it's already auto set it to what is available there. We're going to untick it because I want to do something a bit different. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to do a stacked vertical bar chart. So, and then you can change things like the x-axis depending on what's available on the report. We're going to keep it as type, and then the y-axis is going to be record count, and then it's going to be stacked by billing, state, and province. Then you have here for like number units. So there are like things like you can do full number, hundreds, thousands, depending on how you want to divide it up. You can stack to 100. So that means the bars go all the way up, but you can see what the percentage is. In this case, I'm going to leave it at this because I think that's visually much better. And you can change like the decimal place, what it's sorted by. You can add a custom link, the number of max groups displayed. So it's not really necessary on this report because we don't have that many records, but maybe you have a report with a lot of records. So I think you can go up to 200 records here. Now this is important too. It will default to the name of the report for the title, but maybe you don't want it to be called that because you want someone to look at a snapshot and have a much better view of it. So in this case, we're going to say new accounts by type. And you can even add a subtitle and a footer. There's a couple of other options here. You can change the legend position. So maybe you think it looks better on the bottom or on the right. I'm going to have it on the right. You can change the theme from here. So there is the dashboard default theme, which is light, or you can change it to dark. So just that individual widget will be dark. The rest of the dashboard will be light. In this case, I'm just going to leave it in light, and we're going to click add. And as you can see, that's now been added to the dashboard. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to click done. And now you can see the dashboard here. So it's been added, and it's just refreshing right now. So every time you go into a dashboard, one thing you are going to want to do is click refresh, and what that will do is ping all the underlying reports for all the widgets and give you the most up-to-date information. So that's adding one widget, and in the next video we will go over adding multiple widgets from different reports and how that all works.